Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Commission. I come to you periodically to give you an update on our motor vehicle operations and elections. We have a very busy year this year, and I will apologize in advance. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I have some water here and a pocket full of cough drops, so hopefully one cannot OD on cough drops. So let's see, do I have it? All right, so first off, in the motor vehicle area, a very popular program that we have in the county, our motor vehicle kiosks. That shows the total number of transactions that we have done on our kiosks since it was implemented in the fall of 2017. As you can see, our leader is Union Town Center, which is a 24/7 kiosk, so you can go any time of the day or night, weekends included. Powers is the next busiest location, followed by Centennial, and then Citizen Service Center. We've had, since I put this folder together, we've had 130,000 transactions that have been transmitted through those kiosks. Here is what we've done this year, or this past year in 2019. We added 2 additional kiosks at Stetson Hills. We have at the kiosks, King Soopers, I should say. We have a partnership with King Soopers to deliver this. King Soopers is open from 5 in the morning until midnight, so it expands the opportunities for our citizens to renew their tags without being in line. We are also adding a 7th kiosk to the Baptist Road King Soopers here next month, so we'll be adding that, and we're looking to add additional ones throughout the next year. Here is where we are, El Paso County. I'm always very competitive, and I know it's a little busy slide, but it shows how we compare to other counties. What we've done last year was 69,000. Arapahoe County followed us with 60,000. You can see all the way down to some small counties that they may not have kiosks. We have 14 counties that have kiosks, but we have a total of 27 counties that allow neighboring counties to use their kiosks. We then remit those funds to the appropriate county. I will note Mesa County, Larimer County, and Boulder County. We have a number of citizens that utilize the kiosks there. Most of them are college students, so they renew their vehicle online in those counties and keep their registration current here in El Paso County. I testified on a bill on the kiosk earlier this week. Kiosks are a pilot program with no end date, but we testified in behalf of making it a permanent program. Here's where El Paso County stacks up against the other counties in a form of a graph. Here is our last 5 years of DMV data, and it shows the trends. The blue line at the top is total number of transactions. So we've seen a decrease, but that's not really indicative of what we're seeing in our offices. The kiosks are taking a large number of those transactions off our plate. You can see in the red line that is express transactions that the kiosks perform. You can see a downward trend there. But the green line is those vehicles that are being titled for the first time. So we're seeing an increase there. If it wasn't for our kiosks, we'd see a sharp increase in total transactions at our motor vehicle offices. Here's our wait times. Just to bring it into, into understanding, if it wasn't for those kiosks taking off of those transactions, our kiosks our wait times would increase. I will note that in 2016 that we added the Fort Carson office. In 2018, we had implemented the DRIVES program, which caused a significant increase in wait times as we worked through that new system. So that's the understanding of those graphs. Here's our transactions by office. The Union Town Center is the busiest office, followed by the Powers office. Of note at the bottom is the Fort Carson office. So we've seen an increase, a steady increase, and then in 2018 with the hailstorm, we saw a sharp increase because we had 2 hailstorms that affected the areas around the wide field security fountain area, so we saw a big increase there. However, in 2019, we saw a sharp decrease in transactions at Fort Carson. That's because we had 2 brigades deployed, so that reduced the number of transactions that was performed here. Here's our total fees that we've collected over the past 10 years. You can see the steady increase. That's due to the number of cars and the fact that cars are becoming more expensive. So taxes are collected based on the value of the vehicles. We see that increase. Now, of that $178,000, El Paso County does not retain that. Nearly all of it, or a big chunk of it, 92% of it, goes to other entities. It goes to the state of Colorado, it goes to municipalities, it goes to school districts, it goes to build roads and bridges. El Paso County only retains approximately 8% of that. We have a busy election year. We have our 2020 presidential election that is 35 days away. It is on Tuesday, March 3rd. Here's the timeline for the upcoming elections. We've sent out military and overseas ballots. We sent 4,500 military and overseas ballots, and we've already had people voting. So we had 54 people that have returned their ballot that are overseas or abroad. A week from today is the last day that you can affiliate with a political party and get that ballot. You can change from Democrat to Republican, Republican to Democrat, or any variation of that. That's the last day that you can affiliate to get a single ballot. So people should go to govotecolorado.gov to update their voter registration. Next week, we're performing our logic and accuracy testing to make sure to the public that our equipment is accurate and precise in tabulating ballots. And then on February 10th, we'll be mailing out our ballots. And we have 34 drop boxes that are out. We're busy working on getting the 35th one that we're required under state law. We are looking to locate that at School District 3 Credit Union. That's in your district. Well, so hopefully we're working very hard to have that in place before the February 10th date. February 8th, we'll open our Voter Services Center for voter service and polling operations. On the 24th, we'll open up our motor vehicle offices, and University of Colorado at Colorado Springs will open as a VSBC as indicated by law. The 24th is the last day that people can return ballots by mail. On March 2nd, we'll have a number of VSBCs open. The Clerk branch office, UCCS, Pikes Peak Community College is both the Rampart or North office, and the South one at the Centennial campus off of South Academy. The Town of Monument, Fountain Library, and Victory World Outreach, which is at the corner of Hancock and South Academy. And then Election Day is March 3rd. Unaffiliated voters. So if you do not affiliate, voters that are unaffiliated can participate. If you do not affiliate or state a preference, you will get 2 ballots. However, you can only return 1. So if you're an unaffiliated voter, and that's a part of our big education program, is to remind people that you can only return 1. If you return both, you will cancel out your vote, and your vote will not be heard. Some legislation that we are tracking. There is a bill going through the House, 1081, multilingual ballot access. It will require us going forward, if this was to pass, to provide a hotline to electors. We'll have to have translators to provide translations. We'll have to make sure those translators are qualified, that understand the language, and are certified to the local dialect. Under the National Voting Rights Act, Section 203, it requires that if a county has over 10,000 citizens that speak English not very well or less, that we're supposed to supply them a ballot. We have not fallen under those federal prescriptions. However, this bill would lower it from 10,000 to 2,000, so it would cut by 1/5 the requirements, so it would make more counties that would fall into that. Also, language where only a minority language is spoken in that household. The federal standards is 5%. This would drop it down for the state of Colorado to 2.5%. So it would decrease the percentage, so it would make more people eligible and require additional services from our office. Currently, 4 counties have to provide under federal law multilingual ballots. This would look to impact 18 additional counties, which El Paso County would be one. The statewide fiscal impact is $2.2 million. The impact to El Paso County is around $140,000 to provide those services. Also this week, House Bill 1031 would change the way districts redistricting would be done in the counties. It would consist of a 7-member panel, 2 of which would be part of the largest political party, which would be the Democrat and Republican Party, and then 3 with the unaffiliated. So it would require a number of hearings. It'd allow people to have testimony to those maps. It would be various considerations. I will tell on with respect to El Paso County, we have done redistricting a number of times over the years. We always look to be very strategic and make only small changes because we do not want to disenfranchise voters. We do public input. Last time we had 2 town halls. We have 30 days of public input. You guys are presented with number of maps. The last time we did this, we had the Democratic Party that submitted a map also, so we've been very open and transparent in this process. However, this would be a different way at which it would be conducted if this was to pass. There would be potential costs. That number is still being figured, but once again, this would be another unfunded mandate, as is the multi-language ballot bill if it was to pass.
Chuck,
Yep.
so if I may interject here because of the cost. So I did listen in on one of the teleconferences. Their estimate on the unfunded mandate was between 75-ish thousand to 135,000. So we're talking about this and the other one close to $250,000 if both of these were to pass, affecting El Paso County.
And we provided this service to the county commissioners, to the county at essentially no cost. We use our staff. We move around various projects and assignments to make this happen. So we did this at no cost in the past to our citizens.
I have a question.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. On this, if we were to go to 5 at-large districts, does that require a vote of the people?
That would be for the county attorney to ascertain that. I believe so it would.
Okay.
The way I read the bill was, at least the last draft I reviewed, which was a few weeks ago, is it would need to go to the voters as an initiative.
And then last year in House Bill 1278, it changed the way we delivered elections. It put additional costs on the counties, so we were able to reduce that cost. However, because of some definitions that were in state law, it would have not allowed us to receive funds for our voter service and polling centers because we have print-on-demand printers and we print the ballot that is customized for your location. So we testified last week and we got approval in the State Veteran and Military Affairs Department to change that description so that we can realize that nearly $200,000 to help fund our elections this year. There is a bill that will be dropping that will allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in school districts. This would be another unfunded mandate. The concerns about this bill is confidentiality. People who are under 18, they have, under election law, they have a confidential status because they are minors. Because so few 16s and 17-year-olds vote, it would be easier to determine how they vote because of the small numbers and the fact that we report by precinct. So there is some confidentiality issues that we have in the Constitution. There is additional costs. It would create a number of additional ballot styles. It would increase our mailing cost. It would create a lot of logistical issues that we would have to attend to. In Colorado, we have one of the finest election systems in the country. We ensure easy access. We make it easy to vote, easy to register. We're very progressive at getting opportunities out to citizens, but we keep on changing the way that we vote, that it puts a severe strain. It puts an additional stressor on our systems. We do very good, but continuing to add mandates without funding them and logistics can potentially break the system. So that's a concern. We will always work very hard to continue to deliver the best in election services, but each one of these bills puts burden on our system that we have concerns regarding. However, on a brighter note, Our election department has received its 6th national award. We received an award from the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. We received what's called the Clerk Award. It was for our innovative training program that we introduced to train our judges. We will have as many as 600 election judges that we will train for the November election. It's a big operation, so we put some additional training material, videos, so that we don't have to always recreate the wheel. So it was recognized as a national program of excellence, and I want to give kudos out to Christy Ridlin, our PIO, in the Clerk and Recorder's Office that drove this, our election director, Angie Leith, Greg Chandler, who's one of our election specialists, Rebecca Roberson, who is our voter outreach and voter service and polling center coordinator. But it took a lot of people to do this. We couldn't have done it ourselves. We want to thank for the assistance we received from the county PIO office, Blake Nielsen in the public communications office, Joe Yates, who did our audiovisual portions, Christian Wright, and Nancy Nielsen, all with deserve as much credit as our folks in helping make this to happen. So I thank them. And then last week, the Clerks Association, county clerks from 64 counties came to the DoubleTree and participate in a number of training exercises. One of them was a mock disaster, a disaster where we were being hacked from outside entities, both foreign and domestic. And it was the second time the state of Colorado has participated in it. One other state, since we did it 2 years ago, New Jersey, has conducted one, so we're still a leader in this. We are exercising our muscle to make sure our elections are safe, secure, transparent. So with that, I thank you and have any questions.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Van der Werf.
Yes, thank you. Chuck, first of all, I just want to say thanks again, as always. Great team, great work, and another award.
Another national award.
Yeah. So please express my thank you to the team for that.
I will.
I do have a question on the kiosks. So I appreciate that you went and testified recommending that we keep that pilot program permanently.
Yep.
I also agree with that. I think it has been exceptionally helpful. And, you know, I find it interesting that you've got at least one location that allows for 24/7 use. I can tell you in no uncertain terms how many times in the past, not necessarily here, but where, you know, being in the Air Force, living all over the world in the country, working during the entire time frame when the DMV was open and having to actually take time off of work in order to do something with my licensing of my car. So having these kiosks, having these longer hours, and having a 24/7 booth, I think that's really, really important because it allows at least the citizens that have trouble getting to an office during work days because they've got a long day job, they can get there. So let's keep doing more of that. I do have a question, though. What you did testify, what's your sentiment on the possibility of it being made permanent? Do you think we've got a good chance at that? Or
There is a small fiscal note. The Colorado Department of Revenue has put for programming $112,000 price tag on some additional programming. I'm not sure why that's necessary because right now our third-party vendor, ITI, is handling all those cross-county transactions. So I'm trying to understand more of that. Right now in the state legislature, the budget is upside down. There is more demand on the budget than there is funds. So anything that comes with a fiscal note could create some challenges. But it did pass out of committee. It passed out of State Affairs, which is the Kill Committee. So it passed unanimously 5-0. So I think it will be able to go forward. It goes to appropriations, and that's where the challenge will be, is if it has a fiscal note, that there'll have to be that consideration. So I think it's a popular program. According to the vote, it was unanimous. I think that bodes well, but it all is going to be about the money. And just like any of these election bills, we can do many things. We can do a lot of great things, but we require funding and staff to be able to do that. And every time that we're asked to do more, it puts significant pressure on the system.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It sounds to me like at least it's initially going well with regard to making this permanent. If I would ask if there looks like coming up that it might be getting into trouble, I'd be interested in knowing that right away with maybe some recommendations about how I know, at least for myself, I'd be interested in helping. I just think it's a service that's really worthwhile for the citizens in the community to be able to access these things 24/7. Of course, the website does that too.
Sure.
So, but if it gets into trouble, let me know, and let me know what you would want help on.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Anyone else?
All right.
Right,
Thank you
Jeff.
very much.